Septembre 1935, la Longue Marche se poursuit envers et contre tout. Dans quelle direction? Au-devant de quelle nouvelle péripétie? Tous l'ignoraient. Jusqu'à la parution d'un journal hors du commun. Mario Cavallo est un écrivain américain passionné d'histoire. Grand lecteur d'ouvrages historiques, il aime explorer le passé et méditer sur le présent sous des angles variés pour se forger sa propre opinion. À ses yeux, l'histoire de l'Armée rouge et de la Longue Marche n'a pu être déterminée par la simple lecture d'un journal, comme nous le verrons. Comme dans toute l'histoire humaine, derrière chaque événement fortuit, il existe en réalité une explication logique. Pour vérifier ces hypothèses, Mario Cavallo s'est rendu dans la province occidentale du Gansu. C'est ici que Mao Zedong et ses camarades décidèrent de la destination finale de leur longue marche.
September 1935. With the most unforgiving terrain behind the Central Red Army, one last barrier lay in front of them, Minshan Mountain. Beyond that lay Gansu in western China, a harsh environment for most, but for those who just escaped hell, it felt like the promised land was in reach. Reaching Hadapu marked a milestone in the Long March. Before then, the army had had to depend for sustenance on tree bark and grass seeds. Now at Hadapu, they found supplies in plenty. To celebrate this deliverance, everyone, soldiers, leaders, and political officers alike, was given $1 silver to buy a fancy meal. But there was one stipulation. Troops were ordered not to eat too much, lest their stomachs should burst after such a long period of hunger.
The best breakfast I ever had.
But affordable food wasn't Hadapu's only advantage. It also had good doctors.
现在我们所在的这个地方呢，同善社是周恩来统治住世。当时周恩来患有肝囊肿，到达哈达铺后，周恩来身边的小战士就找来了一位叫畅通的老先生，给医治好了周恩来的病。当时的哈达。
Back in the day, this whole street was lined with Red Army soldiers, resembling nothing so much as shipwrecked soldiers who'd finally made it to dry land. At last, after all the hardships they'd endured, a chance to get some decent food and recovery from sickness and injury. According to historical records, Hadapu was once a very important town despite its small size. The Red Army, having sustained great losses, was now fully replenished. Amazingly, they found everything they needed to treat their ailments, largely thanks to herbs. In China, natural plants have been used to treat human diseases for thousands of years. During the Long March, that's how the wounded survived without the use of Western medicine. Now, time to take a break from history lessons to learn the secrets of this town's prosperity. Traditional Chinese herbal medicine. Thanks to its location between the Qinghai-Tibet Plateau, the Loess Plateau, and the Qinling Mountains, Hadapu's climate is both cold and humid. Though that's a bad combination for growing crops, it's great for growing certain herbs. That's what Hadapu is famed for, the best Angelica sinensis in the country. Also known as dangui, the root of this ancient herb can be used to improve blood circulation. Recognition of its therapeutic value is the result of thousands of years of experience and practice. I'm so happy to meet my new friend, Yu Junchang. He's known here in Mingxian as Dangui Ge. This amazing place is the largest angelica root market in all of China. Each year, 250,000 tons of Chinese medicinal herbs come through here. That's around 8 billion yuan's worth of business.
Well, you can imagine, it's a thrill for me, of course, as a foreigner, to come here to Mingxian for the first time and the Dangui Shichang for the very first time. I mean, I've met so many local farmers and traders, hundreds. But the thing that I also noticed is that apparently Dangui Ge is pretty famous because he knows just about everybody. 这个好啊，对，这个好，这个不怎么好。
对，
你教这个 got it. Yeah.
叔叔拿的这个当归也不错。
He says that due both to lack of access and the lack of shared information, for a very long time, farmers just had to wait for the dealers to buy their herbs. The dealers would then resell them at higher prices. But then the local government stepped in and built a more sophisticated and cooperative system, covering every step of the process, including seeding and fertilizing. They also constructed this large marketplace right next to a main highway, while also encouraging direct trading on the internet so as to reach an even larger market.
我刚开始的时候是在外面一边打工一边摆地摊。我在摆地摊的那段时间，药材一直卖不出去，地摊卖的不好。后来有人就给我提议说：“你到淘宝网上去卖吧，那个地方也许好卖。”
好的想法，他给你很好的想法。
对，我说你猜我当时怎么说？我说淘宝在啥地方？在哪一条路上？我说坐几路车？
你不知道淘宝是平台？
对，我不知道。他说淘宝就是网站，淘宝就是网络。我心里就想，网站和网络，那我能学会吗？我们家这个250克的当归头切片，现在库存再增加一下啊，没有库存了啊。
The new generation of Chinese farmers, such as Yu Junchang, are eager to learn, to gain experience, and always curious about new things. Yu Junchang didn't own a computer until 2009, and yet now here he is, running a successful internet-based business.
直播间的各位家人们，我是一个农民主播，收到我们家的这种当归党参黄芪，我就推荐你们大家泡水。
Every day he receives over 1,000 orders from all over the country. Today, there's a booming and ever-expanding e-commerce market thanks to mobile phones, the internet, and improvements in logistics. Put it together, all these developments have changed millions of lives in China for the better.
腰要弯下去，然后把整个的手机呢放到当归的中间，动作幅度要大，然后底盘要稳，然后这样拍过来，底盘再稳，然后这样平平的移过来之后，不要急着出场，身体慢慢向后退，对，到这里的时候，我们再这样慢慢的退后，然后推进去。
Short-form videos are the latest trend. Yu Junchang is teaching everyone how to make one.
起来，从这里，这是推拉，从这里这样推过去，这样摇过去，要远景、近景、中景、特写，然后4组镜头，搭配起来。
From layman to e-commerce expert, Yu Junchang's transformation continues. He now has his own team and brand, as well as a career plan.
摄像头反转，对，摄像头反转过来，这是明线的当归，品质非常好。
当归哥做当归鸡，
Dangui and chicken both help improve immunity. The soup is a typical healthy treat found in Chinese cuisine. Yujun Chang is working to become a certified dietitian, hoping to find more uses for Chinese medicine, such as combining medicinal herbs with fine food.
The Chinese people are very smart. The farmers all around this valley, they are good at understanding the land, and they're always looking for crops that can grow in the barren lands here in northwest China. These lands have become a most important and spectacular destination for Chinese people, but they are not the ideal place for human beings to live. For thousands of years and even recent decades, the local people, to improve and change their lives, all they could do is learn how to read, education, and go to the big cities. However, over the past 20 years, the development of China's society and economy means that more and more people have returned to their homeland, just like Dangui Ge. They have a wider vision, they're more flexible, and they have abundant knowledge. They have discovered that they can do far more here than back in the big cities.
September 1935. After a brief but sufficient rest in Hadapu, the Central Red Army had to decide on its next destination.
现在我们看到这1935年7、8、9月份不同时期的大公报，上面刊登的信息有：陕北军事形势转变，刘志丹与徐海东有河谷式的这样一些信息。所以，就是陕北有刘志丹红军的信息，硬是把毛泽东的目光从到中苏边界上去，转到了陕甘根据地。
After they left Jiangxi province, the army was constantly on the move as it considered its next steps, without really knowing where to go. It was at this time that they learned about the revolutionary base located to the north. This was the place where they could keep fighting fascism and achieve building a new China, along with their Red Army comrades who were just as brave and just as determined.
Next, I will go to Nanliang town. It's part of Qingyang City. This is where the Soviet regime of the Shanxi Gansu revolutionary base was discovered by Mao Zedong.
From the 1920s to 1930s, Chinese revolutionaries built many bases across the country, including remote areas in the west. Nanliang was where the revolutionary government was located.
咱们现在所处的位置呢，就是咱们南梁集市的一个复原场景。1934年11月7日，陕甘边区苏维埃政府成立之后，颁布实施了10大政策。这10大政策呢，主要有经济、军事、文化教育等一系列的一个政策，注重这个文化教育。当时设立了这个列宁小学就在咱们南梁的转嘴子是一个地名。
Established many decades earlier in 1934, Lenin Primary School is now also a junior middle school, providing the full 9-year compulsory education for children of school age. Once a student here many years earlier, Ying Ying is now a Chinese language teacher. China's 10 million full-time teachers, over 6 million are below the age of 40. The younger teachers, typically below the age of 35 like Ying Ying, account for more than half of all primary and middle school teachers. It's a heartening indication that more and more young people are attracted to the idea of teaching as a profession. Along the way, they've discovered modern, cooler methods of teaching that are bound to go down well with their students. Living far from the school, these children only go home to spend time with their families at weekends, giving them much more time to attend to their studies.
你咋不睡觉呀？
你本来说睡不着，
咋了？
这学期末考试压力有点大，
没关系呀，有老师在呢呀。
总感觉自己会考不好。
那没关系啊，有老师呢呀。抽的，那枕头拉过来，快睡吧。
It is quite amazing that a school founded so many decades earlier during wartime is still functioning today. About 90 years ago, the many young soldiers who founded this school wanted an opportunity to learn more than anyone. But they had to fight to make their vision become a reality so that future generations would have the freedom to do so. Huining, the intellectual capital of Gansu. Since ancient times, people here have enjoyed a reputation for being top learners. But before we get into that, let's find out more about how Huining got its name. October 1936, the Central Red Army, having arrived in Shanxi earlier, came back to Gansu to join together with two other forces, the 2nd and the 4th Fronts. Finally, the young and brave idealists had come together to make history. This memorial hall in Huining has over 600 items marking that historical moment, including a photo of an old man and a portrait of a young soldier. What's the story behind those?
上面这一幅是我的爷爷魏玉，旁边这一个小红军战士是当年救下我爷爷的。当年红军3大主力1、2、4方面军在会宁，胜利会师的时候，当时敌人的飞机对会宁县城进行了轰炸。当时只有14岁的小红军战士奋不顾身地扑倒了当时只有3岁的小魏玉。轰炸结束以后，我爷爷被救了，但是小红军战士牺牲了。小红军战士既没有留下照片，也没有留下名字。我爷爷长大以后，为了纪念和感恩这个小红军战士，就给他的3个儿子，起名为魏继珍、魏旭珍、魏长珍，合起来就是继续长征。
你的中文名字？
我的中文名字是魏永强。
魏永强。
就是我的父亲，也就是希望，我们的国家永远的强盛。
During my conversation with Wei Yongchang at the Memorial Hall, I came to understand that the Huining people have two sources which feed their spirits, which feed their spiritual wealth. And one source, of course, is the spirit of the Longue Marche. I mean, that's really an incredible story which has such a big part right here in Huining. And the other is their tradition of cultivating, reading, and respecting teachers and education. What you see behind me here is Changzheng Road. Changzheng Road is 14 kilometers long, and along this road there's over 20 schools. You won't find that the best buildings in the city along this road are the shopping malls or the office buildings, but the schools.
Huining is located in a typical Loess Plateau valley, characterized by low rainfall and relative inaccessibility. The people living here had no choice but to farm these barren lands, hoping their children would be able to make a difference someday in the future. And the only way that could be done was through education. And therefore, ever since ancient times, the people of Huining have been especially devoted to education. Each of the 284 villages in Huining has at least one library, which is very impressive. Wang Dongliang runs this attractive and comfortable library. He's a native here, who went to college and then returned to start his career as a teacher. He believes education can make a huge difference in the lives of these children. Like in urban communities, people can borrow books from these libraries. For the children here, many of them feel it's more like an activity center where they get to spend some fun time after school.
咱们图书馆周围的这孩子们经常来这里看书学习。今天来的孩子还比较多，是不是知道外国老师要来？他们来想看看外国老师。
今天是不是第一次有外国人过来这里？
对，我说了。
今天的书怎么样 ？Very good. Very good. 我也想给你们分享，我们一起唱歌。Mary had a little lamb.
During the time I spent with the children, I could feel their passion for knowledge. Francis Bacon once said, "Knowledge itself is power." I believe these children will realize the meaning of that quote someday.
Good job.
While visiting here, we discovered that not only does Huining have a tradition of respecting education, they also have some advanced ideas and approaches regarding education. Some of these may seem a little out of place at first, but soon we're going to put them to the test.
Today I'm standing at the entrance to Huishe Middle School. It's one of the top middle schools here in Huining County, and I heard that they have an Einstein class. Now, I'm very curious about what that is, and today about half of the students are going to be participating in an Einstein class. I'm really curious to know what that's all about. Let's check it out.
Hi, Miss Murray. Nice to meet you.
Miss Ting, so nice to see you.
Yeah.
I've got some questions for you
Okay.
about the school.
Yeah.
You know, I understand there's an Einstein class. That means all the students are geniuses.
Not exactly Einstein, the way you think. Maybe I will show you the rehearsal room.
Rehearsal room?
Yeah. And there you can find the answer.
I'm very curious,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's take a look.
It's here. Yeah. It's the rehearsal room.
Einstein class
Yeah?
is a music class.
Yes.
So it's not anything to do with the math or...
Yeah. So here you can find your answer.
The French writer Victor Hugo once said there are 3 keys to the treasure house of wisdom. One is a number, one is a letter, and one is a musical note.
The performances of the school orchestras is a tradition that has been going on for decades. Every year, a new Einstein class comes into being with more eager students. And the orchestra grows more and more popular, too. They've even performed in Vienna. The school has a limited budget, but they're generous with the musical instruments the students need, and through which they hope to cultivate and encourage their creativity. Indeed, Einstein himself was a pretty mean player of the violin and piano. Actually, the band has already left, and that was really a lot of fun playing together with them. But then I thought we were done for the day, but we're not. I found out there's a special request from one of the students. It happens to be one of the trumpet players. Let's find out what it is. So you're the trumpet player.
Yes.
What's your name?
My name is Guo Xiangrong.
Guo Xiangrong. So they told me you have a special request. What's going on?
It's in my mother's birthday.
Ah, 妈妈的生日. Oh, that's very thoughtful, very nice idea.
I want to give her for her birthday.
That's great. What's the name of the song?
Tomorrow will be better.
1, 2, 3, 4. Guo Xiangrong invited me to his home, which turned out to be a valuable experience. 这是北平的。你们的房子呢？
前面那。哎，我爸，今儿你做饭呢？
我做饭呢。
这是马叔叔。
哦，你好，你好。
郭先生，你好，我很高兴过来。
那太高兴了。
哎，来，马老师，坐，请喝茶吧。
谢谢向荣妈妈 ，Thank you。向荣让我给你看一段视频。
视频啊？
视频，对。
那好呀，好。
我现在拿我手机给你看一些视频。这是他希望给你生日的礼物。
In this typical Chinese family, I found simplicity and diligence. During our visit, I noticed hardworking parents and a determined child. Perhaps the mother's birthday wish was for her boy to achieve greatness in the future. In fact, one of the factors that made the Long March a victory was the brilliance of the minds behind it. According to Edgar Snow, Mao Zedong was an extensive reader who had profound knowledge of both philosophy and history, while both Zhou Enlai and Zhu De had studied overseas in Europe and Russia. As it happened, their intellectual and educational backgrounds turned out to be decisive. It's great to see that this grand tradition is being nurtured and passed down to new generations of keen learners eager for knowledge. Youngsters who know what they want, just like those who came before them. And just as deserts and mountains couldn't stop the idealists of the Red Army all those years ago, neither will they stand in the way of the next generation.